Hello, everyone. Hello.
Hello, Northbeth.
Yes, Gloria. How are you?
I'm doing well. How about you?
Thanks so much. I'm doing great. And yes, thank you so much for being here. And we are in session of checking your sound and other stuff related so as to make sure our session going smooth. Yes. I hope you can hear me very clear.
Yes, on my end, I can hear you very clearly.
And what about everyone else in this call right now? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Anna. Yes, before we proceeding, hopefully everyone is aware of our session today, and I'll kindly request for others who are not a guest speaker of today's session, so they can mute their mic when we are heading to our sessions today. And yes, that's also we can clearly understand the other guest speaker what they are going to talk about. Yes, welcome, Gloria, sister. And as we are heading, almost 15 minutes remains before the actual time of our sessions. And yes, the other participant, they're supposed to remain quietly and in a well conducive environment so as we can understand each other. Also, this applied to the guest speakers. And yes, I think that is all for the regulation and the guideline for today's session. So, yes, also like to understand, the others. Maybe we can know each other. How many people from, yes, this is, thank you. Not many of us have been joining lately, but hopefully this session engaged a lot of people from East Africa. I mean, Tanzania, Kenya, Uganda, and the other across the continent. Then anyone from Tanzania, so you can use the emoji through the meeting group chat so I can know how many of you have been here joining us today. From Kenya, you can use your flag, national flag as a symbol to symbolize if you are from Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, DRC, Nigeria, or any other place across the continent or any other across the world.
Hey, hi everyone.
Hi, Nema, welcome.
Thank you. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine. Hopefully, you're doing the same.
I'm well.
Thank you so much. Welcome on board, madam.
Thank you. Is Yohana Matiko around here yet?
Yes, he's here. He's already here.
Hello, Yohana. All right. So the issue of sharing the screen, how has it been settled?
Yes, of course. If guest speaker have something to share through the screen, you can share also.
Okay, fine.
Yes.
Or
Yeah, you
I
can
can
try.
send for
You
you.
can try it through the. No, no, you can try. Can you see the part of sharing the document?
Exactly. Now I can see it. Let me try to.
Yes, you can use it. Try it. I think that is the best time for trying everything. Mr. Matiko, are you here? Do you have any question or inquiry so we can proceed with? Can you hear me? And also I'd like to welcome Mr. Dennis. This is our leader. Welcome, Mr. Dennis. You can take this opportunity to introduce yourself so everyone can know who you are.
Thank you so much, Mr. Nobel. I trust you all doing well today. And thank you also for joining in good time. I'm happy to be able also to join you this evening. I'm joining from Kenya. So it's evening on this end, and I'm glad. I think I can be able to, like an assumption, say all the guests are in together with our hosts, Mr. Nobel and Carolian. So my name is Dennis Monene. I'm the Vice President of Young African Leaders Forum for Programs and Development Strategies. And our director here, Nobel, serves with us together with Gloria, our East Africa coordinator, and I'm glad I can be able to welcome all our guests to this Echoes of Africanism dialogue that we've been doing for since last year, to be able to put the voice of young people here, to put the voice of our researched and well knowledgeable young people and elderly people as well, to be able to put together this intergenerational dialogue to ensure that we're bridging all these dialogues and coming up with possible solutions that we can be able at least to maybe submit to government for implementation, or as well be able to work together with the many young people and see them come to implementation. So thank you so much. This is not my day. I'm just glad that you're able to see this come to success this great day. So you have my best wishes as you proceed for the next session, and feel much relaxed and be able to share the knowledge that you have and the wisdom that you will be sharing with the many young people anticipating in the continent. So thank you so much, and God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. You are most welcome. Also
Hello,
like
Mr.
to, yes,
Hello, Mr. Norbert.
yes, sir, welcome.
Okay, do you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you clearly.
Okay, wanted it to confirm that because I was seeing that I have some of parents, but for me everything is here if you hear me.
Um, I think there is an issue of hearing clearly, but for the first time I heard you. very
Oh, this time
clearly. So maybe you can stay in a very quiet place.
I am in the
We
quiet place. I think it's the internet issue.
okay, yes, I understand. I
Yes.
understand. Now I can hear you clearly. So maybe you can stick at that place.
Okay.
Norbert,
Yes, madam.
yes, I'm trying here to see on how I can share my screen, but unfortunately, I
Yes,
fail.
you failed. Let me try if I can see I can share through.
Oh, I send for you there so as you can be displaying as I move explaining.
What? Pardon, please.
Yes,
Yes. Uh, Which
your screen
screen?
is a scene, yes.
Okay.
I think the best way is for me to share with you on WhatsApp so as you can assist me sharing it there.
Did you see my screen I shared?
Yes, I've seen it.
And it's still displayed?
Yeah, it was a display. I think you just shared the poster.
Okay, I think there is someone. Okay, let me send me your doc. Hello?
Yes, I've sent you yet. Have
Ma-
you seen it on what?
Okay, let me see.
Okay, no, Beth, I think I can make her the co-host and then she can be able to share. So there's
Ye- Yes, I'll share with you. Then you
no.
can help
Let
us
me
in
let me
displaying
let
the.
me make let me make her a co-host and then she will be able to share. Just a moment.
Okay, okay, so almost 4 minutes remain. So let us make it quick.
Yes, Teresa, you can be able now to share. Is it Teresa or Nema?
Y-
Sorry,
Madam Nema,
Nema.
can you? Yes.
Yeah, it is who?
Yeah, I can hear Denise.
Nema. Okay, okay. Let me make you the host. Sorry.
Is my screen seen there?
Yes, I can see it.
You
Yes.
can see my screen?
Yes, I can see
Yes,
it.
yes, I can see it.
Okay, no. Okay, now I think I'm
That,
able to share out.
yes, that is great. Okay,
Okay.
let's check up another issues because 2 minutes remain.
Okay. No, but will we have anyone else sharing so that I can make them a course right now?
Pardon, sir?
I'm asking, is there any other guest who will be sharing their screen?
No, the only one who asked about
Okay.
sharing the screen is Madam Neymar.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
So I can leave it this way sharing or what?
Yeah,
Should I
you
stop
can
it?
leave it. I think there's no one else who will share their screening, so maybe you can leave it.
Let me leave it so
While
that
we
it
are
cannot
proceeding
confuse
and
me in the stomach.
when it came to your party, maybe you can use it.
Exactly.
Hello, Norbert.
Elsa,
Do you hear me this time?
yes, I can hear you clearly.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Mr. Abdul Shakur,
Uh,
yes, thank you.
Hello, Norbert.
Hi, Joanna.
Hey, hi, how are you?
Hi,
I'm
Norbert.
fine. I'm happy to
Are you
see you
good?
here.
So sorry.
Me
Yeah,
too.
thank
It's
you for
been a long time.
that. I think this is the best interaction. And so, if you are not allowed to speak, I think almost 1 minute remaining. So, I think it's better to mute Mikey unless you are getting permission. Yeah, thank you, everyone. Okay. Gloria, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you properly, the host.
Thank you so much. So this is the time so we can begin with our test session. Okay. Uh, Hello everyone, and welcome to another exciting episode of Echo of Africanism. This is a platform dedicated to amplifying the voices of African youth as they shape the future for this continent. And I'm your host, Norbert Sixbet, and I'm truly honored to guide you through today's important conversation. And this platform was born out of deep belief that Africa's transformation will not come from outside, but from within, from the energy, creativity, and commitment of its young people. And today's episode speaks directly to that truth. Um, from our themes today is one that personally passionate about: self-reliant Africa, how youth can drive sustainable development and economic independence. It's not just a conversation, it's a vision and a call to action. And I'm also joined by someone I deeply respect and enjoy working with, my co-host, Gloria M. Cecilia. Welcome, Miss Gloria.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir, for the nice introduction. As introduced, my name is Gloria Cisia, and it's a pleasure to come here on board today to co-host this unending issue in Africa. You know, we're gathered here today to discuss about the dependency that Africa has in long century been a little bit stagnated in a continental perspective. And as my fellow colleague has mentioned, the solution to our African problems come from within, and that is why the speakers on board today have, they're well experienced, and they're here today to share their diverse perspectives on how the youth in Africa can drive empowerment and can bring sustainability aspect in the continent. So, with that regard, again, my name is Gloria Cisia, and it's a pleasure to co-host today's session. I shall return the microphone to the host.
Absolutely, thank you so much. Please join me in welcome our guest speakers. Our guest speakers today is Mr. Joanna Matiko, a strong voice in youth empowerment and civic engagement. And also have Neema Theonesti, a passionate advocate for social transformation and equality. And the last guest speaker is Abdul Shakur, an innovative thinker and committed change maker in his community. Welcome on board, everyone. To each of you, thank you for being here and welcome to Echoes of Africanism. Thank you so much. Welcome, Mr. Joanna. Maybe you have some kind of information you'd like to share with us based on your profile.
Thank you. I learn out of words about the profile because I think and I believe everything that you said uh, is all about me. And let us go to today's topic because I am here even to learn from Gloria, Abdushaku, and others. Thank you, Mr. Norbert.
Thank you so much. And also I'd like to give a moment to Miss Madam Nemathonist. You are most welcome.
Hey, hi everyone. As been introduced, I'm Neema Theonest. I'm very happy to be in this wonderful platform where we youth are going to equip one another so as together we can drive sustainable development. So I'm expecting a lot, especially to the African youth who have joined this session. I hope they won't get out as how they were. So just keep tuning so as you can nourish your mind. Yeah.
Thank you for wonderful recitation. I'd also like to welcome Mr. Abdul Shakur. You are most welcome, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Norbert. I think you have introduced me very well, and I really appreciate that. Also, thank you so much for an invitation to talk in this episode. And I would like to quote the first president of South Africa after independence, who once said that there's no easy walk to freedom anywhere, and many of us will have to pass through valleys of shadows, and before we reach to the mountain tops. And it's not always the valley of shadows that we have to fight or to kill one another, but sometimes we have to pass through these discussions with our African youth, but also to share experiences of what is going on in our Africa, and also to give one another some knowledge. So I think this will help us, including me, because I know that I'll be learning a lot from the others, and I really appreciate for this, and I can't wait to get to this opportunity. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Before we dip into the main discussion, I'd like you to take a moment to unpack today's theme and the shower we choose it. Our episode is entitled "The Self-Reliant Africa: How Youth Can Drive Sustainable Development and Economic Independence." And now, what do we mean by self-reliant, and why is it important at this moment in Africa's history? For for decades, many African countries have relied heavily on foreign aid to support the critical sector like healthcare, education, infrastructure, and humanitarian relief. While aid have saved lives and supported essential programs, we must ask what happens when that aid is reduced or withdrawn, as we are seeing today. Um, Already, some international donors have cut back on funding for key initiatives and in Africa, including in public health and youth development. This is not just a financial gap. It's a wake-up call, a reminder that we as young Africans need to rethink our dependence and begin building systems, solutions, and economies that are owned, led, and sustained by Africans themselves. And that is where youth came in. With over 60% of Africa's population under the age of 25, we are the generation that must lead this transition from entrepreneurship and digital innovation to community organizing and policy making. Youth people, young people across Africa are already showing that we are not waiting for handout. We are building things. But we still facing big question. How do we go from vision to implementation? What are the challenges we face in leading our own development? And what kind of support, local, national, and global, do we need to truly thrive? Um, these are the questions we will be exploring today with our brilliant guest speakers. And I hope that by the end of this episode, you, the listener, will not only understand the topic more clearly, but feel inspired to play your part in creating a self-reliant Africa. Yes, Miss Gloria, you have something to share with us?
Yes, Mr. Nobed, I believe that that's a very powerful introduction that you have given, and it is true that this topic concerns every young African, and no matter what field they're in, no matter what field of practice, it is time that we take this mantle and become the trailblazers that move the continent to the next stage. So let's get started.
Thank you so much. Thank you for staying with us, and hope that introduction helped different today's themes in a deeper way. So now we are stepping into the heart of this conversation, a space where perspectives meet, where stories are shared, and where solutions are imagined. Uh, Before we get into a specific question, I wanted to say this. Each of our speakers here today brings a unique background shaped by experience and a passion for change. The goal of this segment is not just to talk about the challenges, but also to open up a new ways of thinking about Africa, about youth, and about the future we are building. I'm so sorry for the interruption. Mr. Okecho Emmanuel, will you kindly mute your mic? Thank you. So I'd like to invite each of you to feel free, share openly, speak boldly, and connect with our listeners who are tuning in from all corners of the continent. Ms. Gloria, I'd like you to welcome our first speaker.
All right, thank you so much again to our first speaker, who's a very great trailblazer. Allow me to officially welcome him to the floor. His name is, just a minute, his name is, okay, just a minute, let me get the, oh yes, our first speaker to the floor is Mr. Johanna Matiko. Mr. Johanna Matiko, please welcome to the floor, and please, ladies and gentlemen, join me in giving a round of applause to our first speaker. And as he comes on board, I just would like him to introduce himself before now I ask him the first question that we have on call today.
Thank you, Miss Glory. As Norbert introduced me, my name is Johanna Matiko Isaac. I am from Tanzania, a founder of RK Mzazi Social Enterprise. And also I am the youth coach working with Grakma Shaw Trust under the project known as Women Creating Wealth Program. I'm coaching small and medium enterprises in Tanzania and around East Africa, helping them also in digital solution, how they can use digital tools to simplify their work. And also, I'm so happy to be invited to today's topic because it is very relevant. As Norbert said that 60% of the continent's population is under 25. So young people occupy a large portion of our population in Africa. So foreign aid has long been part of Africa's history. We should have to this kind of topic so that we can get insights and learn and how we can implement the visions and different ideas that people have dreamed. And I believe today, apart from being the speaker, I'm going to learn from other speakers, and that's what I'm waiting. Thank you, Gloria.
Oh, thank you so much, Mr. Johanna, for that a beautiful introduction. From what you have just presented, I can tell that you are a great leader, and so we are well much privy to the fact that the USAID has been cut off to the African countries. Well, some of the people argue, well, is it a tragedy or is it a celebration of Africa? So that's a coin on two sides that we need to discuss, Mr. Our guest, our first speaker. So allow me to ask you a very quick question. As many people think, is it whether it is a tragedy or whether we should celebrate as Africa? How does reduced foreign aid impact healthcare, development, and economic growth in Africa? How does the reduced foreign aid impact healthcare, development, and economic growth in Africa? Is it a tragedy or should we celebrate? And also, before you answer the question, we well much privy know of very key authors. For example, the Dambisa Mboyo. We have people like Walter Rodney that have written books since time immemorial on this contemporary issue of foreign aid and all that. So in the next 1 minute to 2 minutes, our first speaker, please guide us, or rather share with us your insights on how the foreign aid impacts healthcare development and economic growth.
Okay, thank you so much. That is very interesting question. And it's true. In this world, we can't be in the same part of the currents or the same part of the sharing. Others will be at another part. What I can say, it's true. Aid dependence has also slowed Africa's innovation in some areas. But there is some of the effects brought by this reduced foreign aid. For example, in January this year, Donald Trump was saying about USAID. For example, let us see in Tanzania, example of Tanzania. During the outbreak of Marburg viruses, USD contributed around 500,000 USD. This was implemented to help in training those health workers, helping the laboratory tests and everything. But when they announced the termination of this, some of the contracts, it brings the effects to our country because you haven't even prepared to receive to not receiving that foreign aids, and fortunately, and you get these effects and this information that you can't receive again these foreign aids. So there are effects even in infrastructure developments, in healthcare technologies, in healthcare sector. For example, fighting in HIV and AIDS. This is among of things that we are affected as Africans by not receiving these foreign aids. Also, there are other things in economic. Foreign aids created so many jobs, but after termination of contracts, different non-profit organizations, they closed some of opportunities that young people loses the jobs. And when you see even in different organizations, it is difficult right now to pay the salaries. So there are a lot of challenges in healthcare, development, and economic growth in Africa. But as Africans, we created the story of foreign aids in our life. We should focus and start to implement our own strategies to make sure that we can fund our own projects. I'm working with one of our African campaign known as One Campaign. This One Campaign is advocating for Africans to end poverty by ourselves, because no one cares about us, but unless we can stand and care about ourselves. And always I believing that we can through considering others' interest. So you can't succeed without considering others' interest. When I'm considering other interest, it is for him or her to consider my interest. We are the reader. We want to read the future. We want to read today. So if we want that, we should make sure that we are going to read according to the interest of who voted for us. So there are effects. There are much effects due to the lack of preparations. So since COVID-19, what happened, they reduced foreign aids, leads to different, even the vaccination campaigns are not in that speed we have seen before. So there's a challenge. And in 2023, according to the Guardian 2021, they said that approximately 10 to 0.6 billion was provided by foreign aids to combat HIV and AIDS, and around 1.5 billion was provided in emerging public health threats such as in training and etc. So when we lose 10.6 billions and 1.5 billions USD, you see the effects. So if we haven't prepared well, it is difficult for us to go smoothly as we wanted. But we should implement ourselves and care about ourselves and to fund our projects. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much. That was a brilliant presentation. I have a question for you, but I shall reserve it for later. So with your permission, ladies and gentlemen, I hand the microphone back to the host so that he can as well introduce the second speaker and ask the second question in the session.
Thank you so much. Thank you for those powerful insights. And this should force us to rethink and not just where our funds come from, but how we build a resilient system that are not reliant on unpredictable support. Absolutely. Now let's move to something closer to our community. As we all know, that community is a group of people who are living together in a certain geographical location, sharing common interests, culture, and some sort of. And so the question is, and this is question direct to Miss or Madam Nemathonisti, and hopefully you're aware. What are some examples of youth-led initiatives driving sustainable development in different African regions? The question is, what are some examples of youth-led initiatives driving sustainable development in different African regions? Miss Madam Neema Theonist, you are most welcome.
Thank you very much for a good question. Before I proceed, let me share you a screen so as what I'm going to speak or answering through the question, everyone can understand. First, for the benefit of other youth who have joined us late, my names are Neema Theonest. I'm expertise in natural resource conservation, and by position, I'm a member of parliament in East Africa Community Youth Parliament, also CEO Youth for Thrive Initiative. Generally, I'm a youth reader, climate activist, also sexual and mental health champion. Directed to the question asked on how youth read example of youth read initiative that drives sustainable development. So before going there to the question, I would love to say, before understanding or knowing the examples of youth read initiative that drive sustainable development in Africa, first of all, we have to know now how we youth we can drive change. So you are the youth here. You can have many questions on how you can drive sustainable change. First of all, for you that to be easy for you, you have to identify the local challenge in where you are in your community. Just try to investigate out what the current problem face youth or face your community. For instance, now in Africa, we are having a huge number of youth who lack employment or are unemployed. Also, we have this issue of climate changes and things like that. So through there, you can innovate out a solution. And through that, you can initiate your own youth-led initiative that drives sustainable development in the community, nation, and global. Also, by leveraging the technology, building digital platforms like mobile app and other technology to address local problem is a very huge creativity on how you can solve a particular challenge. So you can deep mind by using this technology, innovating out this digital app, like mobile app, on solving a particular problem, either arising in aspect of agriculture or mining and wherever. So very important for that. Also, building partnership is very important for you by collaborating with the youth group, local leaders, and entrepreneurs, so as together you can gather resources and create the initiative that will drive sustainable development. The last thing I've analyzed here for you to know on how you can drive this sustainable development is by seeking fund and mentorship. So you as a youth, you are having your project, you are having a particular solution on solving a problem. You have to seek for the fund and mentorship. So at the last, you can initiate your youth-led initiative that drives sustainable development by applying for the grants, applying for the competition, also youth empowerment program initiation. For instance, I as NEMA have been participating in a lot of competition, and I thank God that most of the competition I do won. So through that, the amount I get or the exposure I do get, I use it effectively to contribute in what I'm doing in my community. As I said, that I'm a CEO in a particular organization that is Youth for Thrive. So participating in this competition, applying for the grant is very important for me to use that exposure or that award in implementing the different initiative in solving the problems in my community. And by going so far, the question being asked that example of youth-led initiative that drives sustainable development, for real, my host, there are a lot. There are a lot. And I thank God that for the current situation we are having, a lot of youth are now aware. They are creating different initiatives that solve the problem in the community. For instance, we are having this Youth Connect Africa. This tends to connect youth to entrepreneurial opportunities, training, mentorship, driving self-reliance by fostering local innovation and creating economic independence. And this is one of the youth-led initiative that does this. So you can see on how by observing a particular problem in the community or society, now you can come up with a solution and initiate your initiative that will drive sustainable development. We are also having this Youth for Thrive initiative. This is founded in Tanzania. This organization, I do lead it. It's aimed on empowering youth through leadership, entrepreneurship, and fostering climatic action issues. And as I said before, these examples of youth-led initiative, they all fall on this area of how this kind of youth or I as the youth thought on how I can drive changes. I leverage the issue of seeking funds. I leverage the issue of building partnership. That's why at the end, my initiative now is stable on implementing different solutions to the problem that occurs in my community. And the next one of the youth-led initiative in Africa that drives sustainable development, we have this Banibristic Egyptian. This is one of initiative that does fighting plastic pollution. As I said before, as a youth to initiate your own initiative, you have to look what kind of existing problem in a community. By observing that, now you can come up with a solution. For instance, this Banibristic Egyptian, they does fighting plastic pollution. As you know, it's among the issue, it's among in criteria of climate change issues. So by innovating a solution on plastic pollution through recycling, this one of the initiative of youth does this. So they enable youth on creating an eco-friendly business, fostering sustainable development, engage through social fostering sustainable development. So this one of the initiative has grabbed the opportunity that most of the people, they are dumping the plastic waste. So the best solution is to recycle them. By recycling, it creates a job for particular youth. As we are all familiar that in coastal areas of Tanzania, now I can see a lot of youth are picking such kind of plastic, and unfortunately they get them to sell and they get money, which in one way or other, it tended to boost the issue of economic independence. Very, very important. The next thing, the next initiative, example of initiative, is this Women in Agribusiness. This is found in Tanzania also. It's empower youth read and women to transform small farms into profitable agribusinesses. So this is very important, is one of the initiatives that a youth has observed that this problem exists in my community. So the solution of it is implementing by transforming small farms into profitable agribusiness. So as you can see in my slides, I've pressed them the website link. I think we will organize with the readers so as you can access them whenever anyone wants them, so as to learn more. This Youth Connect is found in Kenya. Youth for Initiative, Youth for Thrive is found in Tanzania. This Ban Plastic is found in Egypt. Women in Agribusiness found in Tanzania. So this is one of the initiatives that are driving sustainable development in Africa. So I think we are now all aware on how to initiate a youth read initiative, and examples as how I've outlined of this youth ready initiative drives sustainable development. So let me stop up there. Back to our host. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Madam Neyman Sioniste. Actually, I had a very insightful, a powerful invitation, and hope everyone, especially listener, understand how youth can drive a sustainable development and economic independence. You mentioned a lot of stuff, such as identifying local challenges, leveraging technologies, building partnerships, scale funding, and mentorships, and also mentioned a lot of youth-led initiatives that are driving sustainable development. You mentioned a lot of examples, and I think that is the best opportunity for youth to take a moment to find out, as you mentioned, you're going to organize some kind of interaction with us, so we can share with those opportunity with our listeners. And as you mentioned, there are Youth Connect Africa, Youth for Thrive, which I'd like to congratulate you for being a leader, a founder of these initiatives, and the Banlastic from Egypt and the Women in Agribusiness, these initiatives from Tanzania. Thank you. I'd also like to welcome my co-host, Gloria Sisia, to welcome another guest speaker.
Oh, thank you very much for that. To the previous speaker and also the host from Tanzania. I've had them mention about agribusinesses in Tanzania. In Kenya as well, it is a very lucrative business for Kenyan youth as well. And also, just to add on what you mentioned, there's also policy reforms that the youth across the continent are trying to really much delve into. So without much further ado, and the same spirit of the discussion today, allow me to welcome to the floor the third speaker. And the third speaker is Mr. Abdul Shakur. Forgive me if I have pronounced your name incorrectly. So please join me on the floor and kindly introduce yourself a little bit before I ask you the question.
Okay, thank you so much, Madam Gloria, and worry out that you pronounced my name very well, more than many people do. And as I was introduced by Mr. Nobet, I'm Abdul Shakur Abdullahi. Currently, I'm a university student. I take a bachelor degree of real estate finance and investment in Arizona University, but also I have an opportunity to serve here as a minister for loans, and also I serve in my community. I am a member of different organizations, and currently I also serve as a media specialist in Upwith Community. It's an organization which aims to empower young children to get quality education, and also it focuses more on the rural children to make sure that they get equal opportunity as other children in other places. So thank you so much, and I can't wait to keep diving into the topics.
Oh, thank you so much for that. And also congratulations for wanting to help people who are staying in the rural areas to benefit like those staying in the cities. So, Mr. Abdul Shakur, my question is very simple. They usually say that the hand that feeds you controls you. So the question is, how can young people transition from aid dependency to self-sufficiency through entrepreneurship and innovation? I don't know if you had me, but I do not mind repeating the question, Mr. Abdul Shakur. How can young people transition from aid dependency to self-sufficiency through entrepreneurship and innovation?
Thank you so much, Madam Gloria. I was speaking while my mic was muted, so thank you. I just got it figured out, and I always believe that the hands that we keep out for help, the hands that we use to seek for help in other countries, are the same hands that can help us as Africans to build our empires. And I believe this because I think we spend too much energy to make sure that we get aids from other countries, and the same energy, if we could use to build our own Africa, I think we could be the ones who are giving aids to other people. And I believe that anything that we as people, but we as innovators, anything that we want to do, it starts with mindset. So we must shift our mindset from seeing ourselves as people who need rescuing, because we as Africans, we always believe that we need something from other places so that we can develop, which is not entirely true, because ourselves, we are not the ones who need to be rescued. And if we follow through the great leaders, but also great people who have came to Africa, they always wonder why Africans we are down, because we have so many resources that we could use to make sure that we ourselves growing, but as ourselves we develop. And for too long, we think that a help is something very normal, but we forget that these helps that we get from other countries, they are the ones that tie us down to make us always underdeveloped. And as youth, we have a great chance, because nowadays we have every I want to say every technology that we need. We have every resource that we need, but one thing that we need to shift is just to shift our mindset a little bit, and to make sure that we go where we want. And in one of the things that we have to give our attention to is entrepreneurship. I believe that as youth, even in small scale, because always we think that we always think that in order for a nation to develop, we need maybe a huge project to innovate. But we forget that the small things that we do as youth, maybe opening a business, or to create a small business which which can help us to create maybe 2 to 3 jobs. Those are the things that will help our nation to grow, because when we give opportunity to maybe 2 to 3 people, these are the times that we help these 2 to 3 people to grow themselves, but also to grow their mindset, and those will make them to innovate. And we see that maybe we have this Nala project from Tanzania by Benjamin Fernandez, and we are dreaming of doing those things by large, maybe technical experts that they are doing in maybe in the global. They start and they do those things. We make them our role model, and we want to do very big things from just like them, but we forget those those people who started small, who had small businesses, those that Neema mentioned before, but also there are many other people in Africa that are doing a very good job in doing this, what people think as small things, but they can help feed us. And I believe that I know that in Africa there are very small projects that help to feed the agriculture. They help to feed. There are very small agricultural projects that help to feed the communities. And we must build a culture which we believe that in order to reach certain successful story, we have to go through failure. Many of our youth, when they try to do something, they do it once, they fail, they do it twice, they fail, they give up, and they do not meet the goal that they wanted. But if we believe that failure is not shameful, but also but as a stepping stone to a greatness, and because for those who have learned about business and some sorts of things like those, they know that entrepreneurship requires passions, it demands resilience, and also it calls for youth, but also for our leaders to take risk, to learn, and also to make sure that they keep going no matter how difficult something is. And that's why I started to with a quote from Nelson Mandela, which says that in order to reach to a certain freedom, we have to fight, we have to go through the valleys of shadows, we have to be afraid, we have to go through the emotions, but we need these things so as they can make us strong. So we have to create this culture that we need to take risk, but also to learn from doing. And our environment, starting from universities and our schools, we have to be taught to so I can say we have to change our education system to allow students and scholars to be in a position that they can fail, but they can take risk, and also at the same time they can keep going, and not making them think that they have to find somewhere safe, because that's what we do every day. We have to we are telling each other that we need security, we need job security, we need to do things carefully so that we don't fail. But we need to create that environment that when you do something and fail, it's just normal, but it's a way of learning, and it's a way of keeping doing. And I believe that Africa will rise someday, uh, alongside with all of these that are happening, that maybe the aids are being cut, and these are really problems. They shock the Africa. Our leaders are now trying to sit down and to think what we can do. But at the moments like this is where youth will have to come up, because these leaders, many of our African countries have leaders. Nowadays, I'm really happy and grateful that we are getting young leaders so in different countries, and this is our time that leaders, young people, we have to come up and to help our leaders, because now they are in desperate conditions because America, Donald Trump cut funds in our countries. But these are the moments that they need to stand up to show how they are capable of leading. So young people, we have to come up and think and innovate, and to make sure that we get everything we need. And as I was saying, Africa will rise, but not because we are saved, because we have seen the effect of being saved. We were colonized. They came here. They thought that they are coming to rescue us from our problems, but where we are, we have I know in Africa we have countries which have more than 60 years of independence, but where we are now, we are almost at the same place where we were when we were colonized. But uh, this is because we were rescued. But if we stand for ourselves, and if we choose to save ourselves, that is where we will develop, because we have every reason. We have more than 60% of our populations in Africa are youth, and we have resources. So I think if we put together the labor force that we have and our resources, that is where Africa can raise. So I believe through entrepreneurship, but also creating the environment to keep trying to fail and to relearn again, that is where we can develop ourselves. Thank you. I have to, I don't have to, but I am going to pass this mic to the host.
All right. Thank you, Sean. All right, thank you so much, Mr. Abdul Shakur. I also share in your vision that Africa must rise, and I also share in your vision on entrepreneurship and innovation. I've also prepared some questions for you on what you have presented on, so I will ask you during the question and answer session. So I like to hand the microphone to the main host so that he can as well introduce the next speaker and then pass the next question thereafter. So to the host, Mr. Norbert, please, the floor is yours. Mr. Norbert, are you in a position to hear me?
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, absolutely. It was such a great citations, and also for what Mr. Abdul Shakur said, and I'm truly inspired. And apart from what Mr. Abdul Shakur, without wasting time, I think we are heading to the end of our session. Also, such a wonderful and also lucky to now explore the policy space. And the question we got elected to Mr. Joanna, and we'll take Kathy through uh, his perspective. And the question is, what a policy and partnership can support youth engagement in economic and social development? I'll repeat it again. What are policies and partnership can support youth engagement in economic and social development? The floor is yours, Mr. Yona Matigo.
Thank you, Mr. Robert. I can say that I'm really excited to receive this question, and I didn't expect to get this question, but it came at the right time. And why? Because I am the member of EU, African and European Activist Chapter. We from Africa and Europe, we are only 20 youth forming this chapter. So I'm so happy for this question because the key law that we are working all 20 youths from Africa and Europe is to create the police recommendation based to youth in Africa and Europe that will be presented at the AU-EU summit in October. So in May and June, I will be in Brazil, Belgium, to finalize with the policy. So when you asked this question, I said that it's the time to get even the insights, and I believe people, listeners, when they will ask even to get insights and to get recommendations that I will put to that policy recommendation that we are preparing for the AU and the EU summits. But what policies and partnership can support youth engagement in economic and social developments? I can start with, I remember within this year in Tanzania, our President, Honorable Dr. Samia Suluhu Hassan, she said that to TRA, the TRA should be fair and make sure correct the revenue, especially she emphasizes on making sure that there is fairness on collecting this revenue from even entrepreneurs in Tanzania. So I can say that the government must prioritize youth enterprises funds. You see, for example, in Tanzania, you have Tanzania's National Youth Empowerment Fund, and the amendment of the Tanzania National Policy 2024 was emphasized on this. The government should emphasize to support youth. Madam Nema was already mentioned Madam Nema was mentioned among of enterprises and innovations that youth from Tanzania and African countries innovated. So the Tanzanians or the African governments should make sure that they prioritize the funds to support these enterprises, to support these new innovations, to make sure that youth can get the supports and lead to the change. Another thing I can say that they can emphasize on the partnership with the private tech firms. For example, the private, for example, in Tanzania, we have Vodafone Tanzania Digital Accelerator program that mentors young tech entrepreneurs. And I'm working with an organization known as Transformative and Integrative Built Out for All, TIBA, abbreviated as TIBA. This year, we conducted Kilimo Kwanza Kidijitali. This, we collaborated with the Vodacom. So when we have the private partnership with the youth enterprises or youth innovations or youth organizations, it will boost them. So we should have these policies and we should have this partnership. Another thing I can say that is regional collaboration is key. For example, we have African Continental Free Trade Area. These are created to make sure it creates the free trade among Africans. So this could allow Africans youth business to access markets across Africa, so that the markets should be accessible and transparent. Any youth in Africa should access to free trade area to get the market to sell their products. As Neema said that in Tanzania, and Gloria supported her even in Kenya and other African countries, the agribusiness. So where are we going to sell these products? Where are we going to sell our raw materials? So this free trade market area, this free trade area should make sure that it's access to youth from Africa. And previous days, I think it is 2 days past, we saw this what are going on between Tanzania, Malawi, and South Africa. As Africans, we can't grow, we can't reach our goals, we can't succeed if we have the conflict within our continent. So we should emphasize that we have the policies that have the have partnership between these countries from Africa. So what we see from Malawi, what we see from South Africa, what we see from Tanzania, crossing their boundaries are not anyone to get their agriculture's products to other countries. It is what we are saying that we don't want in our countries. So as Africans, policies and partnerships can support youth if it will be accessible and transparent. Fund youth. Make sure you create the hub to give them the skills. Make sure you have the policies that emphasize on the collaborations and access for the youth to get markets and to get the area to get new skills. So that's what I can say to this question. Thank you. And I pass this mic to host. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Johanna. Honestly speaking, I love your arguments and I align with them completely. At an African level, we need to embrace the regional integration and partnerships as Africa. And as I know, I don't know if we all know, but we have seen countries like Ghana, and they have already started. Ghana is a visa-free regime, and also Kenya recently has also started doing that. So I think that is a very good example of how Africans are trying to make it easy for businesses within the continent. So there's also the narrative of the zero border debate that is currently ongoing. So because of time, we will not delve much into that discussion. I would like to, in the next 30 seconds, I'd like the next speaker to kindly answer the question. Our lady speaker, please, the floor, you're welcome back to the floor. In the next 30 seconds, because of time, we would like you to answer the question of how can technology and social media help African youth advocate for economic independence and policy change? How can digital technology and social media help young youth advocate, African youth advocate for economic independence and policy change, taking into consideration that 70% of African youth have access to the internet? Without much further ado, our lady speaker, please, the floor is back to you. Miss Nema Thernest.
Thank you very much for this wonderful question, and wonderful time to hear back from me on how these digital technologies and social media are well used in advocacy for economic independence and policy change. We all know that for the current world we are, a lot of youth, as you have said, that are now in these digital technologies and are now using these social media. So how can we use those, or how we are the youth, we are using such kind of social media and digital technology in fostering economic independence and policy change? As the first time I used to share my screen, and I prepare some slides so as we can move together to understand on how these social media and digital technology are very, very important in fostering economic independence and policy change. First of all, this digital technology and social media, they play a role in mobilizing and organizing. We are all familiar that we are having this WhatsApp, we are having Facebook, we have Telegram, and we use this to mobilize peer by organizing campaigns and push for policy reforms. I think we are all familiar. For instance, now we are using this Zoom app. Is one of the digital tools that help in fostering the issue of sustainable development. Sometimes we do use it in fostering the policy change. So these digital technology and social media are very, very important, and this is how we can use them. We are the youth in fostering economic independence. The second point is by raising awareness. These social media and digital technology are very, very important in advocacy for economic independence and the policy change by raising awareness. For instance, through Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube, youth can share real life stories, showcase the problem like in unemployment and demand for government action. For instance, I remembered when I was in primary school, I was being involved in advising our government in Tanzania to change the policy that allow children to be married at the age of 13 years under the permission of the parents. Also, being married under 15 years with 15 years under the agreement or under the agreement of the court. So you can see on how, for that time, we use social media to tell people on how this particular policy of marriage to children was very, had a great negative impact. So through that, people reacted, and through that, the government had the voice, and unfortunately, the policy was being changed. So you can see on how these social medias are very, very important in advocacy for policy change. The policy of early marriage was changed due to this kind of social media by raising awareness to the community on how the policy bad was. And the next thing, the importance of this digital technology in advocacy for economic independence is through crowdfunding and support. We are all familiar. I think Mr. Yohana Matiko can join me hand that we are the youth, we are having different movements. For instance, I can organize a campaign, for instance, in schools or in the community. And unfortunately, I lack the fund to support it. So what I do, I make a poster, then I share it within social media and ask people to contribute. And we are all familiar that we are the youth now, we are running different charity activities. And these charity activities are where promoted via social media and via designing different creativity via digital technology so as to foster what we are aiming to be implemented. So I think you can see how these social media and digital technology are very, very important for we youth for the current situation we are having for the issue of economic independence and issue of fostering policy change. And also we are having number 4, the e-petition and the campaigns. Tools like change.org allow youth to run petitions that influence national debates on youth employment, educational reforms, and entrepreneurship policies. So we can leverage deep on that, on knowing on how these kind of digital tools and uh, social media are very, very important in driving this e-petition and the campaigns. Also building network and partnership. We all know that we are having now different kind of social media, like and digital technologies. For instance, we are having LinkedIn that is very professional. Also, we have Twitter, we are having this Instagram, and we use them to connect. For instance, in LinkedIn, people do get jobs through LinkedIn. They get to be known on what they are doing. Unfortunately, you can find that a person creates him or herself the issue of economic independence. Also through Twitter, you can share particular policies, and unfortunately, and let me tell you that, for instance, in Tanzania, our governments are very, very, they're very, very like sensitive in the issue of social media. For instance, a particular matter, when it arises within social media, either in Instagram or Twitter, it tends to attract them to work on it very fast. So you can see how important it is for the issue of policy change and also for the issue of driving this economic independence. So digital technology and social media are very, very important and crucial in advocacy for economic independence. So let us keep driving it on it very positively. And by ending to that, I think we can pass through this in just like 1 minute. Let us pass through this table here. For instance, we can use Google Form in correcting opinions and influence skills and training. You can use Zoom meeting, creating different meetings and fostering different matters that contribute to economic development. Also, you can use Canva. Canva very, very important now. You can use Canva to create money. Very, very crucial for now, where you are now diving into it. You can use Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn by displaying your innovation and business. And unfortunately, you will attract customers, you will attract investors. So these all are very, very important. As about right there, you can see them how good and effective are in fostering economic independence to use also issue of policy change. So by ending there, I have a short slogan to tell you this time that African youth are the architectures of change by building sustainable future and economic freedom through innovation, technology, fairness, and advocacy. So by saying that, I'm very much thank you for all for this wonderful session and this wonderful question. I hope that everything is well had. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Miss Nema. Also, I know we are out of the time, and also I'd like to give this a chance to Mr. Abdul Shakur, take even 30 seconds so he can come up with an idea on the question. So we can wrap on this part of the question is, what is the practical strategy can young people implement to ensure long-term and sustainable impact? Mr. Abdul Shakur, please, the floor is yours.
Thank you. I'll try my best to use these 30 seconds, and because I know that we're out of time, in making sure that what we do can create impactful outcome in our communities, I urge that we, the innovators, the youth, we focus on these 5 things I'm going to mention very fast. First, I urge that the youth, when we do our things, when we want to do any kind of our projects, we have to focus on collaboration, because as an African proverb says that if you want to go if you want to move fast, then go alone. But if you want to go far, then make sure that you move together. And as Africans, we have seen that we have tried to move really fast, but we do not always go very far. Always we end up to start projects which do not complete, and we have started different companies, businesses that do not go far. So I urge that we take very serious into action the collaboration part. But also we have to make sure that as youth we have consistency in whatever we do. We have to make sure that we keep doing it. And as I said earlier, no matter what, that's just a way of learning. And we have to keep doing, because there's nothing that comes very easy. But also we have to reinvest in our communities, and investing in our community is not always giving material things to our community, but also to document and to share what you are going through, what is your journey. It also impacts very much to the communities, because there are very many youth in our communities that they just need to hear from people who have succeeded, that these people have gone through different difficulties, so that they can keep going. Because uh, trust me, in our communities, there are a lot of youth that are trying to do something. They are trying to build businesses. They are trying to start companies. They are trying to establish NGOs. But whenever they try and they fail, they just going to give up. But when they hear from the people who have succeeded, that they also went through the same procedures, then they will know that this is just a normal process that they have to overcome to succeed. But also, I urge the youth to invest in continuous learning, because always we have to keep learning. There's a saying that always keep learning, because life never stop teaching. And these things, the cutting of funds to our countries, these are the things that are coming to teaching us. And if we don't keep learning from the mistakes that they have been done earlier, from the mistake that other people who have gone for good now they have done, then we won't keep learning, and we won't keep the life will keep teaching us as Africans. But also to have passions, and because in any journey that you want to succeed, if you want to see the morning, then you have to go through a very dark period of a midnight. So whenever we see that things are difficult and things are not working very well, that's the point that we need to have passions, because that is when we know that there's a light that is going to come during the morning. So I urge youth, whenever we want to start a small or big company, we have to make sure that these things that I mentioned, collaboration, consistency, reinvesting in communities, continuous learning, and having passions, those are the things that we have to put in mind whenever we want to do something. Thank you so much. I hope that I used 30 seconds.
Oh, thank you so much, Mr. Bushako. And it's such a wow. This has been such a deep, inspiring and eye-opening conversation. And we have explored the impact of the youth aid, but more importantly, we have heard how youth are creating solutions, building movements, and defining what self-reliance looks like for Africa. And for such a rich exchanging of ideas to all our listeners, thank you for being part of this journey. This platform exists because you care about change and you believe in youth leaderships. So as we cross, remember this: Africa's greatest resource is not under the ground. It is in the hearts and minds of its young people. So let's stop waiting for someone else to fix our problems. Let's be the solutions. And thank you once again to Mr. Johanna, Madam Neymar, and Mr. Blushakol for being part of this episode. And thank you for everyone, for every listener across the continent and beyond it. So I'd like to welcome Mr. Gloria Cecilia, if had a remarkable. Any remark?
Not really, dear host. Because of time, I think we could just end to conclude. Although I'd just like to speak, to all our viewers today, our audience, to all our audience today, just let's keep echoing Africanism, and in the end, Africa, let's make Africa the greater continent. And yes, so together, let's make Africa the greater continent, and let's keep remembering what has been shared today by our esteemed speakers, and looking forward to the next podcast that we will be having. Thank you, and I return the microphone to the host.
Thank you so much. This is the end of today's episode, and see you next time. Bye, everyone. Until next time, keep echo Africanism.